Hi, everyone. Dr. Steve Rasner here again with part two of A Time for You to Change with the Lionhearted Dental podcast. Last week, if you listened to me, I started a two-part series about I want you to change. You know why this came up? I'll tell you why. Because I got some emails from some of you that showed me your success by implementing a lot of the things that we discuss here weekly on the Lionhearted. And it made me just I don't know why, it made me go to the thought of how many of you are just listening and not doing anything about it. You hear the ideas, not just from me, from other people in the industry. I'll give you a good example. So when I used to take just an astonishing amount of CE, like many of you, and while I was at the CE course, I would be my mind would always drift. I'd have this yellow legal pad filled with notes about things that, not about the course, things I wanted to change in my office. Because when you take live CE, a lot of times you pick up great ideas just by being next to other people who are like-minded and have signed up for the course that you're taking. And even the course that I was in would stimulate ideas that I wasn't presently doing. Whether I was down at Dawson when we learned to put things in articulators, and then when I took Strupp's courses with the core buildup techniques and the use of using 4% CHG scrubs, chlorhexaglutinate. By the way, a fabulous course for you to take. That was Bill Strupp, Mike Brum. They give this year they're only giving it one time in Clearwater, Florida. I believe it's September 30th and October 1st. And I went last year. I can't be there this year. Great course on your restorative dentistry. And how many times I couldn't wait to get back to the office. I would make these purchases and I would come in Monday morning and I have a full day, and by the time I knew it, Thursday was here and I didn't change a thing. Ever have that happen to you? So I did change over the years. And this is the change I meant, which is really made that's really hard to do. Anytime you take a 2 or 3 day continuum, which we all know is way different than taking a 1 day lecture, set aside time before you go in your office schedule, even though means you won't be producing. Set aside an hour for the new things you need to order and why you're ordering them, the new codes that you might be using with the people that put in codes in your office. So a lot of times you need both clinical and front desk staff members to assimilate the change. Sometimes you need everyone, sometimes you need a small portion. It is immeasurable how valuable the hour you put aside will be. I don't care that you were gone for a couple days and you took off on a Thursday the week before, and now you can't produce and you're got to get back in and make some money. I get it. Put aside an hour to share with the staff some of the things that you're going to be doing. And then it won't be a waste. Then it'll be easier for change. By the way, I forget, I should do this more. I'm not self-promoting enough. So this October 14th and 15th, I am hosting those of you interested in bone grafting, augmenting bone, augmenting soft tissue, how to do successful grafting. I know that's not my entire listening audience, I get it, but I know it's a lot of you. I have two of the most dynamic speakers in dentistry in that arena, and that would be Rick Miron, Miron, please look him up, and Dr. Ihab Musa, Moussa, from Louisiana. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. I've heard them both. They're dynamic. And once every year or so, at least at this point in my career, I bring in somebody else besides me. You know, I give live courses in my office. Those of you that have listened to me before, go to the Rasner Institute. But there are still spots left for those 2 days. It's didactic only, a Friday and Saturday. If you've ever taken a course with me, it's first class. Even the little snack box that we give you is first class. It is stuffed to the gills. Everything we do, we make sure there's a cocktail and dinner hour where you have time to mingle with the doctors, and even that's first class, whether it's, listen, I've taken courses where they throw us an oatmeal cookie and some nasty coffee. That is not where I live. I think if a doctor, a colleague of mine, is taking time out of his life and schedule to educate with me on his watch, it's going to be memorable. So that is October 14th and 15th. It's in Vineland, New Jersey. Go to the Rasner Institute and look it up. So getting back to change. So I want you to think of this podcast right now, as I've often said to you, as if it's me and you. You hired me to coach, which I used to do. You hired me to coach you, like a life coach, except I'm going to be a dental life coach for you. So I'm going to speak to you, and sometimes you need your mentor to get a little bit in your face. If the outcome is I can push you into an area that you wouldn't have gone into that I know will be better for you, then why would that be a bad thing? So let's go back to the reasons why you're staying where you're at. And I'm saying this on purpose because I want to poke holes in the reasons why you're staying where you're at. So number one, let's begin with this. What do you have to lose or gain by me helping you change? By me helping you influence you to do something different than you are doing right now? Well, to gain, you have a better quality of life. Everything I'm going to speak to you about will give you a better quality of life. Working less hours, making more money, providing better care, becoming respected by your patient population, becoming entrusted by your teams. Are you kidding me? Who doesn't want that? And that applies to other industries, other arenas of dentistry. Even if you're in public health, don't you want to provide great care, the best care possible in the public health facility that you're in? If you're an associate, the Lionhearted principles are geared towards making you the superstar of that office you're in, which will only lead to a better career for you. Whether your doctor pays for it or not, take a loan and get a sedation permit in the state or country you're in, even if you're an associate. That's right. I don't care what it costs. You heard me say keep your credit cards low and your credit scores high, unless you're investing in education as an early dentist. Nobody talked to me like that. I'm talking to you like that because it's true. The one arena that you can't wait till I get a little more money. You can wait to get a little more money for a better car and a better house and better clothes. Yes. And maybe even a nicer vacation or more of a vacation, but not for education, not for training. And the first thing you should train in is your requirements to have a sedation permit so you can give more than one sedation cocktail. In fact, you can give my sedation cocktail, which is well documented as triazolam, Benadryl, and Atarax. It's write to me if you don't have it. I have a blog on it. Okay? So yes, I'm pretty clear what you have to gain. What do you have to lose? Burnout? Everything? Depression? A negative sense of self-worth? Worse relationships with whoever's in your life? I just told you what it was to gain. It's all real. I didn't make any of that up. Providing better care is not, it's part of a Lionhearted principle training, which I didn't get to. Making more money, if that's what you seek, there's nothing wrong with that. Working less hours. Having less stress. Remember, Steve Rasner isn't selling you anything here. Other than, if you count my courses, then I guess I'm selling the courses I provide. But I'm not here selling a book. I give away everything I used to sell for free, including the protocol book, which I used to sell for $180. Many of you listening bought it. Sorry, that's just life. It's 2022 and I haven't written a new book. If I write a new book, you'll buy that. But in the meantime, my commitment to my listeners is giving back. And part of that is that book. So, one of the reasons is you're kind of comfortable. What you're doing isn't the worst thing. It's kind of working now. And I have to ask you if that's really true. Are you missing, for example, too many moments with your young kids? Because I did. And I don't even want to get near that subject tonight because I'll get emotional. You can never get it back. So when you work and you don't change your protocols and you stay in insurance and you overspend everything that I'm telling you not to do around your life and you become a slave to your bills, so you have to be there till 8 o'clock at night every night, and even Fridays and Saturdays, all early mistakes by your host, you miss your children's childhood. It's awful. And even some of you lead to divorce, like your host. All my fault. I know things happen. I don't need to get overly personal in this podcast. My story has a happy ending. It does, for the most part. But you can't get the joy of your children becoming adults back. So that's a big thing you have to lose. And no, so I ask you, is it really working now? Some of you amaze me. Some of you have taken my courses and I just don't get it. How you could be so supersonic on track, so far above me or at your age and stage, that I know what your future is. It's blessed, man. You're set. Many of you are all on the right track, and I applaud you and implore you to keep on that track. Another reason you don't change is fear. It is scary to become a fee-for-service practice. It's literally scary, meaning the insurance companies will actually send you and bully you with letters trying to make you reconsider. It's unbelievable. They should do a 60 minutes documentary on this. I remember it. I remember having second thoughts because, oh, geez, if I want to go back to Delta, I have to take all their plans, not just the selected ones I'm in now. So it's not so bad because I'm in the selected ones. Hell to the no, it ain't so bad. They're all bad. There may be a couple insurances that I never figured out why, associated with the state of New Jersey where there's no maximum. I don't even want to say that. They're all bad. When they control the fee that you want to charge based on your services, based on the culture and organization that my colleague put together, then they're bad. And it's scary. And very few of you take me up on the offer, which I've called many of you when you asked me to, on how to get out of the insurance game. Raising your fees, only if you've earned it, is a scary proposition. I'm saying the reasons why you're not where you want to be. Many, many of you, if we weren't on a podcast that went out to so many people, I would say it a different way. Something about growing something. Okay? That's what I would say. I'll say it this way. You need to respect yourself. So many of you have dedicated many, many hours and weekends to become the dentist that you're becoming. I did it as well. And you need to take that a step further and realize that you deserve to be paid. And if you follow the Lionhearted principle to the max, you need to deserve to be paid up front. So people will complete the treatments that you know how to do. This is not speculation. These things I'm telling you, that getting paid up front is better for the patient and your practice, is fact. And the opposite of it leads to incomplete care. End of story. The fact that most of you are scared to charge what you're worth. Now, if you haven't done anything and you tune into my podcast and your education amounts to online courses to meet the minimum requirements of your state or country, then no. I don't think you do have the right to raise your fees and be in the top 1%. I don't. But I don't think that's who listens to this podcast. So I also think you're fearful, to some degree, of training. Training, here's why. You're the king in your own office, right? Most of your staff thinks you're pretty good. Really good. And then you get out there, and now you're with 10, 20 or more dentists, especially if it's live training, even if it's on models or pig jaws. And everybody seems better than you, and it hurts your ego. I don't care. Force yourself to grow. Force yourself to be better clinically. Or maybe it's just intimidating for you to do it. It's not an option. If you want to be a lion-hearted dentist and enjoy the fruits of these things that I keep saying, this is the upside, right? Better lifestyle, feeling challenged, fulfilled as a dentist, then you have to train. And you have to train frequently. I took 2 to 3 day continuums minimally per year, and I threw in 4 other one-day courses. But I always took a continuum or a 2 to 3 day course, like, and I'm not saying this because it's mine, but like my live surgery course. Adding staff. You're scared to add staff, which is, out of all the things I've said, the least scary, because you can always employ the Rasner 120-day rule, which says, try things that I guarantee you will not bring you down. And if they don't work the way I'm suggesting after 4 months, then abandon them. And adding a staff member is one of those. So do you just add them because of the heck of it? No. The phones ring too much. You can feel it. You can sense it. You're always behind. You always have to wait for a room. Some of you don't have the luxury that I have of 7 rooms. Many of you don't. And so the only way I navigated when I had 4 rooms is we were like a NASCAR race. We turned over rooms. And when you turn over a room, it can't be 3/4 turned over. It's got to be impeccable. That's one of those you can't say I'm sorry for. So adding a staff member if you need to, out of all the things I said, would be the easiest thing to do. How about an associate? I wanted to share with you in this particular podcast. I want to go back to one more thing. Sorry. When you go to a fee-for-service practice or raise your fees, tell me what the number one fear you have, because I know what it is. Fear of losing patients. I get it. Or fear of losing patients. You will lose patients. If you do either one of those, you're going to lose patients. It still hurts 42 years into being a dentist if I find out a patient doesn't come to me that used to come to me, particularly if I've done a very nice case on them. I want you to remember me saying this to you in 2022. You're going to lose patients that will come back to you. Not all of them, but more than just one story. You're going to lose somebody. Maybe you did I lost people that I did the most beautiful work I've ever done on. And it broke my heart. I thought they understood why we were higher than a lot of other dentists. I thought my work and the experience we put, because what I don't hear enough, but I hear a lot, and I know a lot of my Lionhearted colleagues do. Do you ever hear a patient say, I so get you guys. This is so different than anything I've ever experienced from top to bottom. And then at that moment, you feel validated that, oh my God, somebody hears me, somebody sees me, right? But I don't hear it enough. And even if I heard it 20 times in 2022, when I hear the one person that left that I find, because I used to, when I was smaller of a practice, I would always know who came to us and who left us. But as you get a bigger practice, 1 million, 2 million onward, you're not. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be surprised. And you can't please everybody. I know that's not a profound statement. It's just true. Look, I remember when I started to advertise. And I know this is kind of like obsolete talk right now because the Mayo Clinic advertises, the University of Pennsylvania Hospital and Dental School advertise. But they didn't years ago. And I remember advertising, and I remember being fearful that it would tick my colleagues off. I swear on my life, I remember it like I'm looking at you right now. And I took the leap because it's my life. It's my practice. I'll choose to lead it the way that I choose, not out of fear. Okay? Hell, I put up an electric sign 30 years ago. And I thought, and I did it very tastefully, because it's one of those signs in a town where you can see the local temperature and time in between other things. I put service announcements on it for free for other people in the town. And of course, it had, Dr. Steve Rasner, the dentist for chickens and a few who aren't. That was my first card. The dentist for chickens and a few who aren't. All of that took courage. I know it doesn't sound it now, but at the time it was. Just like getting back in a training game, getting a game plan to get out of insurance, raising your fees, all takes courage. It does. Learning how to do surgical dentistry, learning how to do implants or ortho, to expand and broaden your spectrum of care, all requires you to get over fear. All the reasons why we are talking about today. Leaving your associateship and going somewhere that is new to you and foreign, where you don't know the dental assistants or the front desk people that say hi to you every morning for the last 5 years. I get it. It is time for you to change unless you're content. If you're content, stay where you're at. The other thing is lacking that you stay where you're at because all what I'm telling you requires energy. And then I'm going to tell you this. You're looking at me right now or you're listening to me. I'm about to be 68 in July 14th. That's my birthday. French Independence Day. Many, if not most, of my colleagues have retired. And clearly, I'm not doing what I'm doing because of a financial need. I mean, I don't have to tell you that, but it's true. I'm not retired because this is my golf. This is my boating. When I walk in to my Lionhearted dental practice, the one I'm trying to get you to emulate, it's my golf. It's my place in life where I'm powerful and I'm confident because of all the things I've taken time to instill in my culture and organization that I'm trying to get you to do. I don't walk into a place where I have to hide my car or park my car where nobody will see it. I park my car right out front. That said, you change with life. And I have 2 cars. I have a Mercedes AMG that, by the way, is very old. I don't run it. And I have a Lexus that's 15 years old. I usually drive that because if I bump into a tree, I don't care. I literally don't care. If I back out of a parking lot and I hit a pole, I won't even get out to look. Not that I do that often. You get my point. But even when I had newer cars, I don't hide them. You know why I don't hide them? Because I'm not ashamed. I have dedicated, as many of you have, and you should feel the same, my life to being the best possible, pardon the expression, version of who I am as a clinician, as the leader of Steve Rasner's dental practice, just like many of you do. I paid dues, and I can have whatever I want, and I'm not embarrassed. And I would dare you to challenge me, patient, on what kind of car I have, which is a ridiculous comment because I don't have that kind of dynamic between me and my patient. My patients wonder when I'm going to take more vacations. They want me to have a nice car because they feel that they are going to the best dentist around. That's the dynamic I have. That's the Lionhearted dynamic that we've created through the way we run our practice, the way I present myself. God, there's a lot to talk about. But I will tell you that the reason I want your time to change and the reason I don't want you to miss it is I can't believe it is something I have panic attacks, not literally, but moments about that I am the age I am. And I remind myself that I can go on indefinitely. And I have colleagues. I mean, look at Gordon Christensen. I mean, I don't think he knows who I am, but he's well into his 80s. So we've all heard it. When you pick a job and love your job, then it's not really a job. And it's honestly the truth. I want you to feel the change now. I don't care if you're at the wall of, this was wrong for me. Maybe it was wrong for you because you haven't done some of the things I keep talking about. We can make this right for you. It's dentistry. There's so many avenues for you to practice under. The last thing it should be is toxic. The last thing it should be is not fulfilling or enjoyable. We have a skill, man. We have a skill. And when you're able to put that together with the right dynamics of the people that work with you, even if you're an associate or a public service, public health, it makes you distinctive in whatever arena you're at in dentistry. Let's talk next week on the Lionhearted. Thanks for listening. Stay in touch. Dr. Rasner at AOL.com. Dr. Rasner at AOL.com. Thanks, guys.